Good morning, beloveds. It was actually in the 60s this morning. Fall. I know it's fall. I know it's just gonna get back up into the 70s in the lows and stay in the mid 90s, but still, it's that breath of hope that cooler weather is coming. Which is why I'm wearing a t-shirt instead of the moisture wicking shirt that I've been wearing all summer because, okay. So we are doing your spiritual power, and we are going to do the journey of the soul. We are probably going to do all of it. We will find out because it is one long poem, not a whole lot of commentary. So we'll go. There's a prologue and then the journey of the soul. So we'll see. Because the prologue's not long enough for one, but the journey of the soul might be long. I don't know. I'll make the decision in a minute. That's why I tried to get in here a little early. Let's do the housekeeping and then get on with it. So the housekeeping is simply me reminding you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. The website is creativelife.org. The constant contact email, info@creativelife.org. That gets you one email a week. Unless something unusual happens. I will point out we do live in hurricane country. It tells you what's going on for the week and the month, and the hot links are hot. If it says click here now, it means it. The last thing about the email is that it is a blind CC, meaning nobody's going to see your email. You won't end up on anybody else's email list because of us. So there's that. Now, I'm going to briefly mention the social medias merely from the standpoint we do not monetize the social medias. We don't want to deal with the ads any more than you do. So what we ask you to do instead is go like, subscribe, follow based on which platform you are on, and then engage with the individual posts. So react to the post, comment on the post, share the posts. Bumps us in the algorithms. Hopefully more people see our stuff. So there is that. Okay. I guess I should tell you, we are Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark. And I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. So that is it. Okay. Now we are doing Your Spiritual Power, which is a collection of inspirational writings. Some of the documents are some of the writings in here are pretty rare, not published many other places. So we are working our way. And of course we jumped off the cliff with the first one of Immortality. Okay. Immortality. Hence we're doing Journey of the Soul today. And then tomorrow, if we finish Journey of the Soul today, then we will start with your, what is it? Your invisible power, I think, tomorrow. Yes, your invisible power tomorrow. And then we'll go from there and see how it goes. Yep. Okay. All right. Like I said, this is a poem. So we're going to see. And of course, as soon as I get started, Dante comes in to play with his ball track. During poetry reading. Okay. So this is the Journey of the Soul prologue. In the long ago, so the sages say, the path of the soul to the light of day was downward bent through the cosmic way, and man emerged from a piece of clay. But the birth of the soul through a piece of sod was not a soul born from the clod, but was the spark of the living God come to earth to prove itself Lord. The purpose on which the soul was bent, the mission high on which it was sent, the experiences through which it went were given it by divine consent. Man was directed to downward face, to enter the bondage of time and space, his soul within a body to place, and back to come through the human race. What was the reason, I hear you say, that man should desert the cosmic day, take upon himself the form of clay, and backward wend to the upward way? Why should he leave his state on high, and come to earth in dust to lie? Why should he leave his place in the sky, and enter a body which soon must die? This is the reason, so they tell, why man through the cosmic spaces fell, why he entered that place called hell and came to earth in flesh to dwell. That God the Father, who is one, wished from himself to form a son, through whom the divine life might run, and this is why the deed was done. So from himself, God sent a thought embodied as man with eternity fraught, to awake itself through the common lot, and in free state to heaven be brought. In making man to be as Lord, he must evolve from out the sod, with in ignorance reach up to God, by experience be freed from clod. Why was the reason hidden from man? The reason why this life began. The reason of the human span through which a cosmic purpose ran. The reason here is clear to see, that the only way a man can be is first to be fashioned full and free, then left to discover divinity. So that was the prologue. And now we are going to move on to the journey of the soul. And yes, you know that my gender neutraling tendencies are screaming at me, but it's poetry and I'm just going to leave it lie this time. Doesn't mean I won't change it next time, but this time I'm going to read it exactly as he wrote it. All right, so the journey of the soul. A beggar sat at the door of life and begged the gods for bread, but no answer came from that vast domain, and never a word they said. The beggar sat there in deep despair, and in plaintive tones he cried, but the gods seemed busy, too busy to heed, and begging, the beggar died. The beggar's spirit was wafted high, and within him rose his soul. At the thought of the gifts he would receive, now he had reached his goal. But the limitless space and the upper air contained no gifts divine, and in vain he sought and in vain he cried, but never was given a sign. The soul of him was rent and sore at the thought of the loneliness there, of the emptiness of time and space, and eternity grim and bare. Must he forever wander alone in misery, doubt, and fear? Must he forever keep going along through vastness, cold and drear? Eons and eons of time were spent in that long search for the goal. Endless ages of time passed by in that vain search of the soul. And many and strange were the thoughts he had in his utter loneliness there. And many and strange were the things he felt in his soul, which was naked and bare. What was the reason behind man's life? Was there, after all, a God? Why was man's way one of suffering? And why the lash and the rod? These were the thoughts the beggar had in the anguish of his strife, in the great battle of the soul, in the grim search for life. But deep within his soul, as his soul wandered afar, there came a faint remembrance of things as they really are, a long-forgotten echo of a time that used to be, in a dim and distant past when his spirit was joyous and free, of a time of heavenly bliss when he himself was Lord, when every wish was answered, when he lived the life of a God. Was this an hallucination of a mind that was torn and sad, or was it a real recollection of another life he had had? And deep within, a conviction grew that he had lived before, in other times and other climes, in days that were of yore. But why, if he had lived before, and in a state on high, should he enter time and space, and come to earth to die? And an answer came from that deep within, from that great indwelling God, You went to earth to prove your worth, to prove yourself a lord. You went to earth for experience in that great human school. But while on earth, you forgot yourself and lived the life of a fool. And that living spark, that spark divine, arose as a lamp to his soul. And a voice within cried unto him, Return, man, reach thy goal. This time go thou as a hero goes, not as craven, coward, or fool, but in the power of thine own might, be thou thyself life's school. So again he sought the place called earth, and sought, and through cosmic spaces fell. He sought once more to gain rebirth, this time all power within to dwell. He now did come as king doth come, in majesty, power, and might. He came to earth as a living word. He came as a power of light. No more to sit and beg for bread of gods who would not hear. No more to walk through a dreary life in misery, doubt, and fear, but walked as one who claimed his own, whose royal cup is filled, whose every thought is answered, from life took what he willed. This time no gods refused his good. There were none to say him nay. There was naught to hinder on the path, no power to obstruct his way. He learned of the good that runs through all, of a God who is deep within. He learned of the beauty, power, and peace of a life that is free from sin. He learned of the oneness of all humankind, of the perfect path of the soul. He learned of that great indwelling life and the sureness of humanity's goal. He learned of the peace that passeth speech, of a poise that knows no fear, of a calm that is deep and still within, of the presence ever near. He learned that all are within the one, within each dwells the living God, and each in the other lives always, and no one lives by the rod. He learned that the higher life of humanity is not by karma driven, but each has the whole within themselves, and each in themselves is heaven. Thus, the great riddle of life is solved, and the goal for which humanity is bound, the good for which they ever seek, within humanity themselves is found. So the beggar was turned into a king. That which was lost has been found, the lesson learned, and his goal well earned. The now free soul sought higher ground. This time, as his spirit was wafted high, through endless time and space, he saw a universe filled with life. He beheld the true God's face. He saw that all creation's blessed. He saw that all creation's blessed, all forever in the one. For the great cosmic light of love beheld the Father is in the Son. And there is an epilogue. The life we give is the life we take. And we are the life we give. Ugh, hang on. All right. The epilogue. The life we give is the life we take, and we are the life we give. There are no gods to say us nay, for we are the life we live. So living take, and taking live, and giving get, and getting give. And there endeth the lesson. Does it? I don't know. if you're reading along, then yeah, I did end up gender neutrally, I can't say the word today. Some of it. It was told from a specific point of view, so I left that alone. But then there were times where he was clearly speaking about everybody, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not a man. So you can forgive me or not. So, but, and honestly, sometimes poetry can say it better than prose. It uses fewer words because the point of poetry is to paint a picture. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, poetry is that. Poetry paints a picture. And I find it interesting that Ernest doesn't believe in reincarnation, and yet clearly in that poem, he talks about, well, I was there on Earth and I screwed up. And then I spent eternity searching and found nothing, so I went back to Earth. But to be fair, that's what Ernest says. The reason that he doesn't believe in reincarnation per se is because he thinks that in his case, he said, I've learned all I need to learn here. I don't need to come back here to this school. I'm going to move on to another school. So, so it's not that he believes in the continuation of the soul, not reincarnation. If you learned everything that you need to learn here, you don't have to come back. And that's a very Buddhist idea, because there is the idea, the Buddha, once he's learned what he needs to know, doesn't come back. There's been more than one Buddha. But the bodhisattvas do. Kuan Yin is one of the bodhisattvas. And they continue to come back to help other souls to hear that divine spark within themselves. And one of my favorite things about Science of Mind is exactly that. Is we're not teaching you something you don't know. We're reminding you of something you already know. All right. So that, and there ended the lesson. So, and now I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a take care of yourself day, a take care of business day, a you got this day, a cuddle your fur babies day, a clip some claws day, a drink plenty of water day, and enjoy the cooler mornings day. Did I say drink plenty of water day? And enjoy the sunshine day, tell somebody you love them day, a look in the mirror and see God looking back at you day, I think I need to wrap this up day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, because occasionally it is, I get it. Simply have a day. You are enough. Just as you are. You're a beloved expression of the divine. You're a spirit in motion, God in action, a brilliant light, a divine spark, spirit in motion, a God in action, a beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time, at your own pace. And, as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. So explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be, because the divine knows you to be good. And from there, all things are possible. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. All things are possible, but anything is possible. All right, beloveds. I'm simply going to remind you, Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9-ish tomorrow. We will start your invisible power tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. And I will see you next time.